forward, right?
So somebody needs to, because otherwise, to remind people about the phone call in between follow-up. Oh, clear, very clear. Could you maybe just to wrap up the strategy part, and before we move to the to innovation part, could you maybe just give a very concrete example of a strategic step then for FEI, something entering new market, maybe introducing new products, maybe business model, something you learned from that was very successful or maybe very unsuccessful?
And that's what I said before, an innovation part, the transition to 3 segments in R&D versus 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So think about it. If a company is $1 billion company and you spend 10% or 12% in R&D, and then there's a budget owner, and that budget owner needs to make a decision based on quarterly performance of the company, and there are cuts. What are you cutting first? Mm-hmm. You're cutting the future. Yeah.
Usually the case. Yeah. I know.
And the company took the decision to preserve and protect the future. Mm-hmm. And that was a key, and a success now is shown, because we have, as I say, I have always 5 things that are relevant for the future and can create new business. Mm-hmm. So you're in a good position to, if you have a challenge in the market, to have a response. And that building that response, or the ability to have a response, is what we created by separation of long-term R&D, of engineering and development, and of optimization processes in R&D, and even the software part, because digital is more, and software needs to be protected also in itself. Yeah, so the software team needs to have their own life, not dependent on other people's decisions. So we really. That was a very successful decision.
And the budgets are currently fixed for within each part of those 3, so you are not shifting now budgets between those 3 items.
No.
That's the important part. That's important, because once you start shifting, the whole thing goes.
No, they're not shifted. They're protected.
Okay.
We align. Of course.
Yeah.
We I deliver. My function delivers in the 2 others. Right, I'm pre-developing for them. Yeah. So I deliver pieces and components that they can pick up and productize.
Yeah, they are your customers, in fact.
Yes, exactly. And that was changed as well. My customer, the internal customer view of R&D has changed. So the pre-development function that I have, I would say, who's my number 1 customer is the business unit. Before I do something, I talk to the business unit. What do you think you need in 3 years? Where is your customer? What markets you look at? Yeah. So what is nanotechnology doing? What is life science doing? What trends are coming? Yeah. So that's also why we monitor our conferences in the outside, where we collaborate a lot. So you know what Frank is doing in the European Partnership Program. So these kind of things contribute all to this. And then once a year, align with the business units. So this will be my program. Mostly they agree. If they don't agree, we have some debate. But then I think there's the 80-20 rule. Say, this 80% is for you, and the rest 20% trust me.
Trust me,
you will be surprised, and we have a surprise for you in 2 years. So this is how it works, right? So I have always the opportunity to do things that, and my part has in the initiation of it, no revenue or ROI calculation to it. So my research function does not to have an ROI part. That's important, because then you cut this over. You would cut it. So you say, why do you invest $1 million into a new idea? There's no revenue connected to it. Okay, will not be funded. This is the trap. The top 5 opportunities that I have, they have an ROI. Because now I know
Yeah, because you know also because you checked it already with the market,
Yes,
so you
exactly.
can assume, okay, this, you know, this is the customers.
So what I told the finance department is, I cannot give you I have maybe 40, 50 projects, and say, not for every project I can give you an ROI, but for my top 5 projects, you can get an ROI, and then you know already what the revenue would be if we prioritize it. So.
Correctly. And this is why you also move them faster.
Yeah.
So you can also kind of motivate, okay, that's what I promised, and this is what we're doing, and for the rest, trust us. All of them, for the rest of
And the BU supports me. So the BU would say, yeah, we see this coming, and we want this, and they pick it and put it on a roadmap. And then the other departments have to execute it. But it's a BU decision to use technology that I have on the shelf to implement this on the roadmap, solution roadmap, which then the other parts, the software and the technology groups have then to develop, right?
Yeah, clear.
So the BU is my stakeholder more or less, and then we support the other teams. But I will not talk to the other R&D divisions. You please take this take it on a roadmap. It's not their decision; it's a decision of the BU.
Clear. Very good. I think it's very important to get them on board from the beginning rather than developing something, and then it's really crystallized, and then you bring it, and then everybody's like, sorry, but
no, it's very transparent, right?
Okay, very good. Tricky question. One of the last ones to wrap up on the strategy formulation process. What do you do to avoid getting stuck with the wrong strategy? Because usually not all the decisions are good, right? Definitely not in the business world, but
I think all companies have difficulties
at some point
saying no.
Exactly, but at some point you do get stuck in the wrong strategy. It happens to everybody, but at least what do you do to avoid getting stuck for a long time?
Yeah, I've seen issues here, so we have that as well. So saying no or saying what we would not do is difficult, right? Or what should we exit? This question is being always asked: what would you exit? What would you stop? Even in my pre-development function, I have to stop things, right? Shifting resources is always a challenge because you hire a certain piece of resources in projects. And then, of course, if you stop it, and then you have to move people to different jobs or consolidate that area. Yeah, it happens. But then it's a CEO decision to do so.
Okay.
That's the BUs would not take that decision likely.
No. BUs not.
No, it's CEO decision. Division president, we could say, decision to. It's a responsibility of a division president, I would say. Yeah, in the small, I agree. The functional owners should really know. I call this make-buy partner decisions, right? What should I make internally? Where should I partner? What should I buy? That's what I'm doing, and it's going well.
Okay, clear.
Why is it going well? Because I partner with the sourcing department from day one in my technology development. So sourcing will tell me easily, oh wow, your supply chain will not work. So you have to do it differently. So in order to avoid those
exactly, that's what I was wondering,
traps, it's very good to work with in the development process already with sourcing from very early on, and not after once you have done all the and it's very important to develop according to the existing product platform architecture. Don't create your own world in R&D, right? So be connected to the real world. But if there are businesses that not going well, we also shape and transition this to different groups. So we have, as an example, we had a situation where a business was intended to serve a specific market. After a couple of years, we saw, it's not going well, but the technology could migrate to a different owner within the company, and that's what we then do. It's not being easily divested. So FEI was not a company that easily divested their ideas and stuff like that. So we kept it.
And how you make sure you speed up this constant adjustment when needed, if needed, of course, if not needed, clear, but if needed, how you make sure you do it fast? So like this, you say we need to stop something, it's always difficult to say no. how you make sure it's not dragged, for a long time?
I think in my area we gradually ramp down. So if projects would end, I early know a year. So projects anyhow in print is easy. My function is easier. It's 2-3 years development programs, sometimes with partners, and when it comes to an end, you start already training people on a different subject, right?